a huge contributor to the
Is that
local economy.
available?
No, but I can. Let me think about it. I could probably send you a précis of some of the, because may not be able to send you the report, but I could send you the précis of the published information.
Because one of the problems is there isn't very much data about a certain amount about agriculture, and there's the standard economic statistics, but they're a bit fuzzy, particularly for tourism. It's very difficult to say what
Yes.
tourism. They're the two big industries, apart from public sector employment and so on. And there's also very little about them in planning and economic strategies and things. It's all,
So for me, that's the greatest weakness. Herefordshire doesn't know its own identity. So if I was to... now, some people would say that's really rather nice because then not many people come when we live our life the way we live it. That's rather nice. But alternatively, if you're developing an economic strategy for Herefordshire, I mean, the LEP, I don't know what the LEP strategy is, for example, for Herefordshire. As we develop a university and where that university sits, we're developing a whole set of economic criteria for Herefordshire. But I haven't seen, and it may exist, but I haven't seen a strategy that says this is what Herefordshire is, this is what are the assets of Herefordshire, this is where Herefordshire is going. I don't see that clear strategy at all. Where you look at other counties like Yorkshire, Yorkshire has a very clear strategy. There is immense. So it'd be, Yorkshire, for example, would be a very good comparison in terms of what is that headline council strategy. I mean, Yorkshire's even got the French cycle race going around Yorkshire. Yeah. There seems to be obviously a very clear strategy. Yorkshire crisps are sold throughout the world. Tyrrell's, I understand it, their last comment was, someone said to me anecdotally, most people don't know where Herefordshire is, so we're going to take the word Herefordshire crisp off Tyrrell's. Now that to me says that's just because they want to get crisp from anywhere, or produce Tyrrell's anywhere. Yes. So if you take the Herefordshire provenance off.
But it is, you used to Google Herefordshire and come up with Hertfordshire.
Yes.
And actually I tried it a few times, and it doesn't happen anymore, but it used to.
But I think that Herefordshire's identity, it would be really interesting to, because as you said, there's almost seem to be two groups, the farmers and everybody else. And actually it's much more, you've got Hereford City, you've got the market towns.
It's quite a simple county in many ways. It ought to be easy to gather it into an image compared to some places which are much more mixed.
There is a lack of investment in Herefordshire more broadly. We're losing our banks, we're losing all the infrastructure of Herefordshire. It's a very, very difficult time. And so I guess as other infrastructures retreat, I've talked about the power infrastructure, which is very weak. Some of the social fabrics of have we got banks, have we got post offices, that's all retreating. We're seeing some communities become stronger as a result, but I'm not sure that Herefordshire Council has a clear understanding of what Herefordshire is.
And they're hugely under pressure.
And they have no money. I mean, we're one of the biggest, I think, aren't we the fourth biggest county geographically that have the least
probably
population?
The tiniest council, which is struggling a bit, I think. Yeah, there's all sorts of questions like that. So, I mean, you just got to look at the roads in Herefordshire to know we're in a big mess. Certainly at the moment, after that winter.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant, Louise.
Not at all.
If there's anything else that occurs to you, in the next few weeks, and you think, she ought to look at that, or I forgot to make that point, obviously just send me an email. What I will be doing is sort of pulling together things this autumn. I'm not used to this time span that you get on a PhD. It seems terribly luxurious to me at the moment. But
it won't be till you start coding. Like when you start coding, it won't seem luxurious.
I know, but so I'm hoping that some point later this autumn, depending how I get on with the coding, I will get some preliminary sort of findings coming out. And the plan really is, because I'm used to sort of bringing people together and discussing things, I may want to share some of those and get people's responses to if I'm saying, well, this seems to be what is happening, but give people a chance to say, oh no, hang on, you're forgetting this aspect, or you've picked that up wrongly, or whatever. So I may well come back to you, to all the respondents, I'm guessing late autumn or during the winter. And feel free just to say, well, I'm too busy or whatever, but if you are interested in seeing
I'd be very happy.
Then that would be great. Brilliant.
I'm not quite sure how you describe me, because as I've been speaking, I haven't necessarily been speaking from a farmer viewpoint. So it's quite a mixed...
Well, there were bits that were very much about your farm. There were bits that were more about food policy.
So if you wanted to split that out as 2 interviews, I'm very happy for you to split that out as 2 interviews. Because
and I will be using quite slightly vague. I haven't worked out exactly what they'll be, because it depends how many people I interview in each category. But it will probably be farmer or industry person. And I haven't got any other food policy academics, but... but I can I'll think of some sort of wording that will disguise people, and there will not.
Well, the policy bit, I'm very happy to be attributed to a policy specialist or something, food policy specialist or whatever.
I mean, it's not like a consultancy report where you list everybody.
Because you might have, because sometimes I've been identified as, I don't know, food industry expert or something rather than academic. So that's something else. So you could take. I don't mind. I don't mind. So because very often in PhDs people will have a whole set of expert interviews, and then we'll position those slightly separately to farmer. So however you want.
And is there anyone else that you think I should follow up on? Anyone come to mind? Either specific people or groups of people that you think, no, she really does need to go and speak to?
I mean, having spoken to John Reed, you could ask him about their. Obviously, they have their committee, so they have a producer committee. There may be people on that committee that would be happy to talk. And it might be interesting to speak to someone like Springfield Poultry.
They're on my sort of long list, because I thought that might be interesting. They're over on the Worcester Road, aren't they, from Napster?
Yes.
Yes, I did wonder about them. I've got a list of about 100, and I know I'll get about halfway down it.
Yes.
But I keep shifting people around.
And someone like Legs would be really interesting, because they're both selling food to a wider community, including people that are tourists that are coming in. And also they are having been supplied with local chicken as well. So to get a feeling other than retailers would be... Because obviously they sit in an interesting position where they would probably know tourists very well and what tourists are looking for in local food and local experience. And also buying from local producers.
It's an interesting one. I looked at one particular case up near Kington in some detail, and one of the objectors to this new poultry unit was actually the local butcher, who only sells free range, and they were objecting, which it sort of jumped out slightly.
So it might be interesting to look at the butcher. No, there's this standard supply chain and this alternative supply chain, and they're seen as being very distinct and almost at loggerheads with each other. And in order to promote the added value in one, there's a risk that you denigrate the other.
Yeah, and that might be interesting to follow up.
Absolutely.